Jury deliberations just wrapped up for the day in the Karen Reed murder trial. Now, earlier, attorneys delivered closing arguments. Reed is accused of hitting and killing her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV and leaving him to die in the snow in January of 2022.
Large crowds have gathered outside Norfolk Superior Courthouse today. Reed is charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, operating a vehicle under the influence, and leaving the scene of an accident. Her lawyer argues that she is being framed. Thanks for staying with us this half hour. I'm Priscilla Casper.
And I'm JC Monahan. We are joined now by NBC 10 commentator and courtroom insider for us, Sue OConnell, who has been there basically every day since the trial began. Sue, in your experience, I would say, what kind of conversations do you think the jurors are having, considering they only had this in their hands for just 2 or 3 hours this afternoon?
Well, JC, that's a great question. The judge said to them, you can have lunch and deliberate during lunch, or you can have lunch and deliberate after. So we were talking in the press pool about what we would do, and I think they've been dying to talk about it. So I'm sure at least over lunch they talked a little bit about it. If they follow the judge's recommendation, that they don't just do a quick vote. Actually, you know what? Karen Reed is coming out of the courthouse right now, JC, so I'm going to take a shot of that while I answer your question. The question becomes, do they go over all of the evidence, the mountains and mountains of evidence that were presented, or do they just sort of do a top line of what they think happened? The other thing that was very complicated for them today was the instructions from the judge, the juror instructions, really giving them the complicated way that they have to consider the many levels underneath the 3 charges. So it's not just these are the 3 charges, these are the things that the Commonwealth had to prove. So I think they might have just spent the day talking top line stuff and getting ready to really dig in tomorrow to deliberate, JC.
Yes, so Sue, as the jurors go home for today, come back tomorrow, let's talk closing arguments. The judge gave each side 1 hour only, when each side really could have talked for a long time. There was so much evidence in this case. How, in your opinion, do you think each side did to present their case?
Well, for the closing arguments, Priscilla, Alan Jackson is a master orator. I mean, there's really no doubt about it. You can love him, you can hate him, you can agree with him or disagree with him, but he really, really told a story, gave a narrative, and then wove the evidence into what he was saying as he was talking to the jury. ADA Adam Lally had he's got more to do. He has to prove Karen Reed's guilt. And while he started off strong by reminding the jury that she said, I did it, I hit him, he then kind of lost the thread a couple of times. In fact, Judge Cannoni had to tell him he had a 5-minute warning, which was a generous warning, then a 1-minute warning, which he spent 15 seconds trying to regroup, and then in the end, she pretty much cut him off. But you know what? If you're a juror, you don't care about how it's presented to you, I think. You're looking at the evidence, so maybe that's what they took away from each of those presentations.
So you've seen Karen Reed in court every day. Today, closing arguments, did she appear any differently to you in terms of her demeanor?
Yeah, I think that we have all been noting that it seems that Karen is not as vibrant as she was in the beginning, at least in the courtroom. Certainly this would take a toll on anyone. But also, just in the courtroom this morning, it was somber, it was serious. We waited for the judge to start court, and everyone just sat there quietly. And as I've been posting from the courtroom from day one, usually Karen Reed and her supporters, it's almost like a cocktail party. You've never seen a more relaxed and happier person who's on trial for murder. That was not the case today. Everyone was serious and everyone was paying attention.
All right, Sue, thanks so much. As jurors head home for today, they'll be back again to deliberate tomorrow.
Right, and we'll have much more on the Karen Reed murder trial coming up on Canton Confidential. That's at 7 o'clock right here on NBC 10 Boston.